The Tiny Gardeners Project Kit will have everything you need to complete the experiment. The experiment will go for 5 days, so it might be best if you set it up on a Monday so that it can be completed by Friday rather than be interrupted by the weekend.
You will record your class's data on the data sheet included in the kit. Along with the data on how many seeds the ants take away, you will also need some background information about when and where you conducted the experiment. Make sure you fill in the metadata sheet about what your site is like, what the weather was like, and where you are in Australia.
In the package there are 30 dishes. There are 10 sets with 3 dishes in each set.
A small team will look after each set. Other teams in the class will look after the other sets. A copy of the worksheet provided in the kit can be given to each group to keep track of their own set of dishes and record the details of the experiment.
Use the forceps to place 20 seeds from the packet labelled A into the dish labelled A. Using the forceps means that oils from your skin or sunscreen won't make its way onto the seeds and affect the way the ants think of them. Do the same for dishes labelled B and C with the seeds from packets labelled B and C. The seeds need to go into the dishes, but when you move the trays, the seeds can fall out the holes. A good way to prevent this from happening is to turn the lid upside down and put the bottom of the dish into the upturned lid. This will block the holes until the dishes are in a place outside.
The elastomes on the seeds are the little extra bits attached to the seed that the ants really like to eat. They often fall off the seeds, particularly on the bee seeds, so make sure the seeds you put in the dishes have their elastomes still attached, otherwise the ants won't be interested in them.
Before you take the dishes outside, make a prediction of what seeds the ants will like best. Write this down on your worksheet. You don't have to agree with other members of your team, it's just a guess.
When all of the teams have all their seeds into the correct dishes, it is time to find a spot outside to put them. Look for sheltered, out-of-the-way areas that are unlikely to be disturbed throughout the 5 days of the experiment. At each spot, put out 3 seed dishes on the ground. Place the plastic lids back on the dishes and pop a small rock on top to keep them in place. This will stop birds and small mammals from getting into the dishes and removing the seeds. Place the 3 dishes into a triangle shape with 60 centimetres between each one. Don't set up your dishes too close to other teams' sets. The sets should be at least 5 metres apart. When all the teams have put out their dishes, there will be a total of 30 dishes across the 10 different spots. The next day, it's time to check your dishes. Don't move your dishes. This might cause the seeds to fall out of the holes. Just remove the rock and count how many seeds are remaining in each dish. Write this number down on your worksheet. Repeat this for another 3 days so you have a total of 5 days of observations. This will allow the scientists to calculate a rate of removal for each type of seed.
If things go wrong during the experiment, such as some of the seed dishes being disturbed or washed out by a heavy downpour, that's fine. Having some missing data is a normal part of a science experiment. Once a dish is disturbed, don't worry about trying to replace the seeds. You can just write NA in the remaining data cells. If possible, it is good, but not essential, if you can count the seeds at roughly the same time each day. Once all the seed data is collected by each team, make sure all the teams transfer their data across to the main data sheet. To contribute your data to the Tiny Gardeners project, scan a copy of your data sheet and metadata sheet and email them to tinygardenersproject@gmail.com. If you like, you can also post the seed trays, leftover seeds and forceps back to the university. These can then be reused by other groups that want to help with the Tiny Gardeners project. If you need extra equipment, such as replacement trays or more seeds, send an email to tinygardenersproject@gmail.com. You can also send us an email if you have any questions about the project. Good luck with the experiment. We hope everything goes well.